and welcome along to AFTV. I am here to bring you some massive breaking news tonight. I'll tell you what, this has been an eventful transfer window, but this news that has broken tonight is huge. It's giving me Sol Campbell vibes of when Sol Campbell left from Spurs and joined Arsenal. The news that I'm talking about is something that's been broken exclusively this evening by David Ornstein, who has tweeted out and said, exclusive, Arsenal make a move for Eberechi Eze. And he says, and the 27-year-old wants them. Tottenham lined up a deal with Crystal Palace today and the player, but after Havertz's injury, Arsenal are now closing in on the England international. If he proceeds with choice, Tottenham will pursue other targets. Eberechi Eze, who for the last few days it's looked almost nailed on, is going to Tottenham. Looks like he's changed his mind and he's on his way to Arsenal. Other journalists reporting this as well. Fabrizio Romano saying that following talks tonight, Arsenal are convinced that Eberechi Eze prefers to join them over Tottenham. 60 million package offered to Palace with easier add-ons and faster payment terms to try and beat Spurs. Negotiations underway. And finally, there's loads of journalists going with this, but I'm really jumping with the real respected ones. Sammy Motbell of the BBC saying Arsenal closing in on a move for Eberechi Eze. Crystal Palace forward prefers Arsenal move. Sources indicate the deal is around £60 million. Excuse me. Now you see why I'm getting Sol Campbell vibes. This is huge news because it looked like Eberechi Eze was definitely on his way to Spurs. Arsenal, after showing initial interest, had made no real move for him whatsoever. But then today came the news that Kai Havertz has picked up an injury, said to have suffered the injury during the game against Manchester United. We don't know the extent of that injury yet, but there's rumours that he could be out for a few months. And lots of rumours started to spread that Arsenal were going to probably go back into the market and look for an attacking player. And now they're making a move for Eze. Of course, yesterday we also got that. And now this is starting to make a bit more sense. The Trossard news, where Trossard was offered a new deal, reflecting, with a wage rise, which reflected his standing in the team. Of course, Trossard can play as a striker, as well as playing as a left winger and sort of an attacking, all-round attacking across the front three. So they've kept him in, but now they're also bringing in Eberechi Eze by the looks of it. And this is major news. To gazump Spurs on this one, it will be absolutely massive. And as you can imagine, it's gone viral on X at the moment. It's trending. Everybody's talking about this. The Eberechi Eze could be heading to Arsenal, not Tottenham, Arsenal. Now remember, Eberechi Eze was once an Arsenal player. As a youth, he was at Arsenal, and in the end, Arsenal ended up rejecting him, and he left and went to went to Queen's Park Rangers and various other clubs. Ended up getting back into the Premier League at Crystal Palace. But when he's spoken in the past about his time, at Arsenal, he's openly said that, he was in tears when, he got rejected by Arsenal and they said that they weren't going to keep him on. This could be his chance now to once again return back to Arsenal and, show Arsenal what he can do. And for me, I'm excited about this if this comes through, because it's a player that I've wanted all transfer window. I cannot tell you how disappointed I was when I saw that it looked like Tottenham was going to get him. I understood it from his point of view. He wants to play football. It's a World Cup year. And, going to Tottenham, you're going to be playing in the Champions League because Spurs are back in the Champions League. They got a new manager and, they needed an attacking midfielder after the injuries that they suffered. And it made perfect sense for Eberechi Eze to go and join them and to, excel so that he can get into that England team for the World Cup next year. However, at the last minute now, Arsenal have come in, and as I said, what David Ornstein is saying here is that he prefers the move to Arsenal. And let's be real, I don't think Arsenal would be trying to make this move if they didn't get indications from the player that, yes, I would come to Arsenal. Because if they did make that move and it ended up going wrong, it's obviously going to be very, very embarrassing. Now, listen, at the moment, we cannot for sure say that he's coming to Arsenal, but certainly when you read what David Ornstein's saying, and we know David Ornstein is very accurate on these things, a guy that I know personally, does a lot of research, and he doesn't like to go with things unless he knows quite definitively that it's going to happen. He's indicating here that Eberechi Eze is, wanting to come to Arsenal. Now, again, it also takes not just Eberechi Eze wanting to come to Arsenal, it also takes negotiations with Crystal Palace. But we know that in the case of Crystal Palace, the fee's around £60 million. We know that Spurs were getting towards that figure and sorting that figure out. And as I said, if you look at what Fabrizio Romano's saying, he said a £60 million package was offered to Palace with easier add-ons and faster payment terms to try and beat Spurs. So Arsenal very conscious that Spurs have been negotiating with Palace, but they're going in there now and they're saying, listen, we'll make it easier for you. You'll get your money quicker with us. The add-ons are easier to hit, so you're guaranteed to get the 60 million, whereas with the Spurs package, you're not. How must Spurs be feeling right now? They must be absolutely gutted. As I said, after the injury to James Maddison, they really need, a player like Eze. But Arsenal are making their move now, and it looks like Eberechi Eze, when you read into what some of these journalists are saying, has chosen the move to Arsenal. And if he has done that, I will be a really happy person. And I think universally, Arsenal fans will be happy, because there was a lot of doom and gloom around yesterday. Not because fans are not, lovers or really, really like Leandro Trossard. We do. But it was like, are we going to leave ourselves short again? Are we not going to get a winger? But now it looks like they're making their move for this attacking target in Eberechi Eze, especially following the reported injury to Kai Havertz. So once again, let me just read you what some of the journalists are saying. Fabrizio Romano, following talks tonight, Arsenal are convinced that Eberechi Eze prefers to join them over Tottenham. 60 million package offered to Palace with easier add-ons and faster payment terms to try and beat Spurs. Sammy Mokbel, Arsenal closing in on a move for Eberechi Eze. Crystal Palace forward prefers Arsenal move. Sources indicate a deal is around £60 million. I've just seen something here from BBC Sport as well. Let me just go for what they say. They say Arsenal have launched the move for Crystal Palace attacker Eberechi Eze. Sources have told the BBC Sport that Arsenal will offer around 60 million for the England forward, who is also wanted by Tottenham. Talks between Tottenham and Crystal Palace have accelerated over the past few days, with multiple sources telling the BBC Sport that they were progressing positively. The Gunners have concerns over a knee injury sustained by forward Kai Havertz, and Eze, 27, would offer Mikel Arteta an option in that area of the field. Crystal Palace boss Oliver Glasner said on Wednesday that Eze will start in the Thursday's UEFA Conference League tie. That's interesting as well. Will he start in that game now? Along with Liverpool-linked Mark Gahey, as they remain committed to the team. Sources have told the BBC Sport that Eze wants to join Arsenal before the transfer window closes on the 1st of September. Eze had a goal, going on to say about how he had that goal ruled out at the weekend. That's another thing. He's great on free kicks. So that's, again, the BBC are reporting it as well. And, of course, the guy who broke the news exclusively from The Athletic, David Ornstein, he says exclusive, and he's broke a few exclusives this summer. Arsenal make move for Eberechi Eze, plus the 27-year-old wants them. That's significant. Tottenham lined up a deal with Crystal Palace today and the player, but after Havertz's injury, Arsenal are now closing in on the England international. If he proceeds with choice, Tottenham will proceed to go and get other targets. Huge news today. As I said, this is almost Sol Campbell 2.0. Not as bad because Sol Campbell was already at Spurs. But I know that Spurs fans have been getting very, very excited about this signing getting done. Could he now be heading to Arsenal? We'll keep you up to date with all of the news. And remember, we'll be back in the morning with Transfer Daily. I'm sure we'll be talking about this one a lot. But it looks like Eberechi Eze could be on his way to Arsenal. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to AFTV. And I'll see you again very soon. Catch all the best shows from your favourite fan channels on GFN Soccer TV, now streaming on Samsung TV Plus.